But on that day, I learned that, you know, this too shall pass, that the pain doesn't last forever.
Can you share a little bit about your experiences with Pete Thomas's Bootcamp?
Oh, Bootcamp. I can't believe you asked me about this, Jeremiah. Oh my God. First of all, Pete Thomas's Bootcamp was very much instrumental in me elevating from kind of walk running into doing long distance running. I think it's because that cross training component, as well as he does nutritional stuff when you take his courses. I had never been in a boot camp. So I just didn't know what it entailed. And Pete, I always felt like he was always yelling out my name. Charlotte, Charlotte, give me 10 more. Like I was in like military, okay? I was like military. I could get some respect. I would say this, like in hindsight, I can say this now. I wouldn't have said it then. But part of me was a little competitive. I wanted to, like, you know, be a good girl, you know, perform at a high level. And I think in many respects, I used to hate when he called my name and I used to ignore him and I used to like act like I didn't hear him. Even though I heard every word that he said. Or I'd be like, stop saying my name. Get your name out my mouth. Get my name out your mouth. Like I had a little attitude. But I'll be honest, like I love the attention, right? Because it did inspire me, it motivated me. It was kind of nurturing and it was a kind of support that I needed. You know what I mean? I was a big girl in there, so it was like he had big expectations of me and I was trying to rise to the occasion. Let me talk a little bit about Pete's Bootcamp. Let me talk about a little bit about Pete Thomas. Pete Thomas is, he's an at-home prize winner from The Biggest Loser. And he lived in the Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area. And he used to have these classes that he offered through the Ann Arbor Rec and Ed. And it was one of the first places I went to. So like, I had my emergency room visit around June. If you're going from the 2 minutes or 2 miles per hour to the 50-mile ultramarathon, the emergency room visit was in late May, early June. And then by, I think it was August, I was in the boot camp. Yeah, because I went through the fall, went pretty much through the fall. And so that was early on. So by then, you know, I wasn't, you know, my running wasn't, I wasn't running. I was probably jogging, doing a walk, jog. So I signed up for this boot camp and I thought, okay, he was an at-home prize winner. So like, although I always talk about the fact that Biggest Loser used to like terrorize, I used to feel so intimidated by Biggest Loser. I always was thinking, only if I could, you know, secretly saying to myself, but only if I could. And so I'm gonna say a couple of different things. First of all, so I went to Pete's boot camp and I'm gonna walk you through, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So the first day I went to the Pete's boot camp, it's a lot of people out there. And he always says like, look around, look, he always says, look to the right, look to the left, like, these people ain't gonna be here. And I'm thinking, y'all looking at me too, so I might not even be here. But I remember distinctly on that first day, he had us do a lot of different activities. He was kind of trying to assess our level of fitness, right? Of course, my level of fitness is low. Girlfriend was just doing 2 minutes at 2 miles per hour. I'm probably barely doing more than that then. I'm probably doing a lot more than that. But I mean, I'm still early in my fitness journey. And I remember when I did the first day, I tried to do as much as I possibly could. Again, I felt a little competitive. Also, I felt competitive because there was a lot of people around me that were in bigger bodies just like mine, and they were doing amazing things. And I was thinking, well, if they can do it, I can do it. And yeah, I could do it, but probably not. Should have been doing that first day, you know what I mean? So I was very competitive. Sometimes when I think about the things that I've done, oh man, I was cray-cray. Probably still a little cray-cray, but don't tell nobody. Anyway, so, you know, I do the exercises, I do all the things, and I'm tired. It's 90 minutes, and I mean nonstop. just all kinds of different exercises, and you go from station to station to station to station to station to station, and you don't never run out of stations. So it's not like, you know, you'll get done early. Well, I guess maybe some of the more elite people or people that have been doing the boot camps over and over again, they probably could get to a point where they could rest, but I was so slow, I never got to a point where I could rest. But I do remember before I left there, I remember we were stretching and my stomach was toe up from the flow up. And I was like, oh my God. And then I felt nauseous, right? And so I'm stretching, and then we finished stretching, and then I get up, and I swear to God, I thought I was going to like vomit the whole earth out of my body. I felt horrible. And I remember I was walking to my car, and people were like, make sure you drink water, make sure you drink water. And I'm like, just shut up, leave me alone. I'm like, don't be telling me to drink no water, just leave me alone. So I remember I got in my car, I went home, and I think, I went to bed and went to sleep, y'all. That's all I did. I didn't eat anything, I went to bed. So I got up the next morning to go to work, and I could not move. Every time I moved, my whole entire body, including my earlobes and my eyeballs, was hurting badly. And so I got myself together, got the strength to kind of get myself up, get moving, and I went to work. And it was so funny, when I got to work, I was in so much pain. I told all the secretaries and admins, I said, look, I'm gonna need y'all to, like, if I need a copy, would y'all mind making a copy for me? Or if I need y'all to go to the mail room, can y'all please go to the mail room for me? Short of going to the bathroom, I had everybody around me doing everything for me because I was in so much pain, and it was like hard to move, even like just a little bit. And so, and I remember thinking to myself too, what happened is I work for the Ann Arbor Rec and Ed too, and I used to teach classes as well. And so what happens is they give you opportunity to take classes, and they give you kind of a grace period before you decide whether or not you want to take a class. And so this was a Tuesday. This was definitely a Tuesday. Tuesday was the day I went to the boot camp, and then this Wednesday morning, and I'm like, I need to call them, because they're like, oh, you got to call us by Thursday if you don't want the course, and then we won't charge you anything, you know? And so I remember I was like early morning, 9 o'clock, I'm like, I am not taking this class ever again. I'm in too much pain. There's no way I can do it again. So I had pretty much had a painful Wednesday. I said, first thing Thursday morning, you need to call Ann Arbor Rec and Ed. I mean, I was in so much pain, I didn't even feel like calling Ann Arbor Rec and Ed to cancel. I was like, I'll wait till tomorrow morning and I'll call them. And so what ended up happening? So I go to work the next day, still in pain. I mean, I'm like, does this ever go away? And I was like, definitely not going back to that boot camp tonight. So that's Thursday. That would have been the second night that you go to boot camp. And so about 11 o'clock, I just, I'm working. And then I got up to go to the bathroom. And guess what, y'all? I felt like 80% better. Yes, I did. I was like, whoo. I was like, oh my God, it went away. Like, I was just so shocked. I was like, oh my God, it went away. I was happy. I was like, yes, I got my body back. It doesn't hurt as much. Good. I was happy. I was so happy that my body wasn't in so much pain. And so I was like, okay, I went to the bathroom, right? And then what ended up happening was I decided to go outside at lunch, to go walk over to another building to go get some lunch. And I was like, well, I feel good. And I was like, are you gonna call Ann Arbor Rec and Ed, or are we gonna go back to the boot camp? And so I'm gonna be honest with you. I played around with this thought. And next thing I know, it was like almost 4 o'clock. And I was like, boot camp started at 6, it's 4 o'clock. Ann Arbor Rec and Ed closed at 5. What you gonna do? And guess what I did, y'all? I said, okay, I'll give it one more try. And I want to talk about that and tell you guys that story because it was the best thing I ever did. It was one of those really good decisions that I made for myself. Because I thought that pain was forever. That's what I thought. And when Thursday came around, it was later in the morning, because early in the morning, I was still in a lot of pain. But later on that morning, I felt 80% better. Like I felt like there was such a significant, stark difference in how good I felt. I realized a couple things. First of all, that pain don't last forever. That the pain, you know, when I think, you know, you asked that question and I didn't even know I was going to come here, but man, that was a moment for me. Because I had been somebody who had been depressed, who had felt like I didn't really want to live. I felt like I was in a lot of emotional pain and just really couldn't deal with life. But on that day, I learned that, you know, this too shall pass, that the pain doesn't last forever. And that all I had to do was get through it. Oh my God. I didn't know that day was significant until this moment. Because I remember I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. But more importantly, it was like I got through. And it built a kind of confidence and strengthened me to know like, oh, there are going to be times when you do stuff and it's going to be painful, but you'll get through. Like, this is not, this too shall pass. This don't last forever. And so as I'm like, quit class or go to class. And I think having that experience, which honestly was the first time I had had that kind of experience, probably in a very, very long time, I felt inspired and motivated to go back to boot camp. And I did. I went back to boot camp that Thursday night. And the second night I left, I felt a little nauseous. And yes, I still hurt. Yes. And on Friday, yes, all the secretaries and admins had it. And the beautiful thing about it was, I said, but it's okay, because by Saturday it'd be gone. So our boot camp was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I was like, no worries, you're hurting Friday, but by Saturday, you know, hopefully by Saturday morning, you'll be all right. And so I went back on Saturday morning to boot camp, and it was a struggle, but something was triggered in me, and I got hooked to what I would call high intensity interval training exercise, that I could go all out, right? And it hurt, but then I would feel better. And I think when I think back, I felt more alive than ever. You know what I mean? I just remember feeling so alive. And I think that Pete always yelling my name. I felt like somebody was paying attention to me, but more than that, I think him calling my name all the time made me feel like he expected high things of me, like I could do it. And so I was like, okay, even though I hated him calling my name, but I don't know. There's so many little trinkets or just little things that culminated in that beginning period of doing that boot camp that really would change my life. You know, when I really think about it, when I really wrestle with those moments and how it transformed me and my life, I owe a lot to Pete. I always felt like I owed a lot to Pete Thomas and the boot camp, but to really kind of remember and recall it in such a way and have this kind of understanding is super exciting for me. And so, yeah, Pete's boot camp was cool. It was like 8 weeks. It was Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. One thing about me, if I paid my money for something, I'm gonna come every time. I'm not gonna skip, not once, because I want to get my money's worth. It changed my life. I went from being somebody who was a slow jogger, walker, to running. At the end of that 8 weeks, I was running. And that's really prepared me for doing races. And we did a lot of running during the boot camp. So it wasn't like I wasn't, like the boot camp, it wasn't like I wasn't running. The boot camp integrated a lot of running. So I was also running too. But then I love the fact that I could do the boot camp and then the next day go running, and then do the boot camp and then the next day go running. And I just found myself growing, getting stronger, having more endurance. getting faster, going for longer. Woo! Yeah. So, yeah. And I love the fact that, you know, when you're in Pete Thomas's boot camp, he shares with you his journey, you know, and so you're like him, you know, you're just like him. He shares with you his challenges. He shares with you, you know, his winnings. You know, you get to be up close and personal to somebody that was on television, right? Somebody who maybe didn't make it through the whole Biggest Losers, but came home and then won that part. So it was inspirational, it was motivational, you know what I mean? And having them up front like that, I think was good for me because it allowed me to know, like, okay, you too can do great things, but you're gonna have to work for it. And so, yeah, I would say that I'm so grateful to Pete Thomas. If you ever listen to this, just please know that I love you, and you have been an instrumental, really super important part of my journey, and I'm forever thankful for everything that you've done for me, including yelling my name all the time. And to all of you out there thinking about doing a boot camp, do it, y'all. And my thing is, like I always say about everything, go do it, do your best, whatever that is, and just be satisfied, and then come back and do a little bit more, right? There were days when I had to do things, and there were certain exercises I would do, and maybe I would get to 2 or 3. And then I think it was you would go for maybe 3 minutes or something like that. And maybe I would get through doing it once or twice. Then the buzzer would be going off, go to the next station. And I loved watching myself grow in the different stations. Like, oh God, I got faster, or I ran for longer, or I was able to do this, you know? So yeah, thank you, Jeremiah, for reminding me about Pete Thomas and asking me to share a little bit about my journey when I was in the boot camp. I love you, babe. Thank you.